This might be a hot take, but might I say that the vessel, our avatar, has a life of its own. I've often talked about the humbling, the humbling down, the stepping back in order to allow for your truth, for your wholeness and fullness to be on the stage, to be, fleshed out, to step back and allow it to be in its fullness. And in my previous video, I talked about how the body is that which is in fleshed out. It's in here-ness. It's in unapologetic existence. Whether or not the mind thinks, oh, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, I don't deserve to be here, to exist, etc., it's irrelevant to the body. The body remains as is, in fullness and wholeness, in full fleshed outness, right? When this humbling down, when this giving way is finally redirected from out there, from wherever you're giving your power away to, or this lowering to, right? Let's say a partner, a family member, I don't know, your boss, a guru, or someone, when it's finally reclaimed and finally redirected where it belongs to, which is here, your own truth, right? Your vessel, your avatar, then that's the time when we are in alignment, you know? So imagine this is the visible, the body, and this is the invisible, let's say the consciousness, the attention, or the tending to, and they become like this. Instead of the body is here, but this, our power, our currency is being given away to an external element, right? It's being handed over, it's being surrendered to another person, another entity, not these ideas, to the ego mind, right? To the immature toddler aspect. And so there's misalignment, there's incongruence, there is a division, you can say. But when this, the consciousness, our attention, our currency is finally here and is finally serving this, it's finally in giving way to this, the attention is here, is in recognition, is in reverence to this. Now there's a serving of the whole. You can say that the machine, the biologic machine is finally let, allowed its fullness. It's finally heeded, you can say, instead of external authority or programmings or brainwashings or conditionings. That's what the ego does. So we can notice this in controlling narcissistic people. They are in siphon mode, right? They want to take this, right? This attention, this humbling, this reverence that's supposed to be, that's meant for your own truth, your own vessel, you can say, the avatar. They want to take that, steal that, siphon that, hijack that in order to prop them up, in order to prop up their egos, which is the complete inverse, the complete opposite, because it's the ego mind that has to strip back, that has to sit down, you can say, that has to step back in order for this to be at the forefront, to be the quote unquote, the authority, you can say. And so they go around demanding, right? Demanding that you give your power away to them, that you give this, you direct this humbling to them instead of where it really belongs to. They live in an opposite, upside down reality. Instead of them humbling down, they want to be the one that's lording over, right? They want to be the one in dominion, or, be domineering and controlling. When in fact, it should be inverse, you know? So we can notice this in ourselves when we are deeply unconscious. Our ego mind is lording over ourselves, is lording over the body. You should do this, you should do that. You are this, you are that. You are unworthy, you are invalid, you are incomplete. You have to prove yourself. You have to, whatever, whatever it's blabbering about. It's like a big fat bully, you know? And it's the imposter, right? It's the imposter authority. It's presenting itself as if it's the authority, as if it's the one that knows, as if it's the one that you should follow. You know how, let's say, pathological liars are, or psychopaths? They're good at that, right? They're good at presenting themselves as if they're the authority, they're the one who knows, that you should give your power to them, right? That it's gonna benefit you to cater to them, right? To please them, to direct this lowering or humbling towards them, right? And that's the ego mind. Again, it's an inverse, it's the inverse reality, so it's the imposter. Instead of wholeness, it's in division, fragmentive. Instead of coherence, instead of alignment, it's committed to misalignment, committed to incoherence, committed to disintegration. It's like the agent, the agent of the opposite. Right. And so if we put that at the pedestal, if we see authority in that, then we see that it doesn't really lead to a sense of fulfillment. It's always like stringing us along, or, those ancient times when there's a quote unquote Lord and a servant, and the tyrant is always dissatisfied. And he's like, no, work hard more, do this more, bring me more stuff. It's always like, get to the next thing. That's not enough. That's not right. You have to do this. You have to get here. And once you're there, no, it's not. You have to get here. It's the never ending misalignment, right? It's never wanting to just be in alignment and be in that kind of sense of wholeness and settledness. It's like it's always rushing to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You can even notice, even when you're just, let's say, eating and relaxing, it has a lot of protests, right? You have to do this quickly so that you can get to this next thing quicker. Or you're not being productive enough. Why are you resting? Why are you doing this? You should do something. You should always be busy doing something. That's the mode of the ego mind. It's the opposite of this, of resting in wholeness, of actually appreciating the moments, right? It has its own agenda, which is basically to siphon more and more, to get more and more, to possess more and more, you know. Also, in my previous videos, I often point to the giving back of autonomy. Because again, that's how the ego is. It's siphoning autonomy. Not only is it siphoning the autonomy of the vessel, of the avatar, it wants to siphon the autonomy of everyone else, right? It wants to control people. It wants to control especially people who they get close to, let's say family members or partner or children, right? They are entitled, they feel entitled to hijack autonomy. It's in delusion, it's in psychopathy. Let's just put it that way. It's upside down. It's the upside down world. And of course, this kind of upside downness, the degree of its strength or intensity can vary from person to person. So for real psychopaths, you can say that the intensity is way up, right? It's at the extreme end, you know. And you'll notice that when you're tuned in to the vessel, you can say, when you're in following, when you're in reverence, when you're in respecting of the autonomy of the avatar or the vessel, you may find that it has a totally different directive from the ego mind. Let me give an example. This was when I wrote one of my books. And at that time, I have no intention, or at least my ego mind has no intention. At that time, I have built a source of income and it just started earning. And so the ego mind is like, oh, it's now finally started earning. You should manage it more. You should spend more energy on it. You should create more here so that there's more income because that's what you should do. That's what the world tells you you should do. That's how it is, it's just more about more and more and more. And at the same time, the body's directive is to write. See, this is the difference. The mind, right, tells you you should do this because a whole laundry list of justification. And it's spewing out the programmings and belief systems and conditionings, right? And it's like it's explaining itself, it's rationalizing and justifying itself. The body just said, right. Why? Right. I don't know what to write about. Right. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't justify itself. It doesn't give guarantees. It's not about, oh, do this so that you can make more money, blah, blah, blah. Or you can get more, I don't know, external validation, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't, it doesn't give you that, as opposed to the ego mind. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't justify itself. It's so secure. It's so simple. And so I remember standing there and I was so torn, I was so torn. It's like those cartoons where the character is there and there's a demon and there's an angel at both sides of him. And the angel and demon are telling the opposite things for him to do. And the character is torn. It was kind of like that. And I sat on the couch and I was like, but why, But why me? I don't know what to write about. And I was going on some, rants of protests. Like, I don't know what to write about. I don't even know probably how to write anymore. It's like this kind of bargaining or something. But in the end, I was like, okay, so be it. I don't know how, what, where, when, but I'll just follow you. Okay. And so I did. And in that process of writing, you can say that there was a significant kind of realization or experiential expandedness, you can say, an experiential sense of this awakening process. There was a mark that was hit. There was the threshold that was, you can say, that was hit. And at that time, too, in that period of time that I was writing, there were two bulk orders that happened, which kept the income at the same level, even though I'm not working on it. And so that was that. It was a firsthand experience of knowing that the vessel has its own thing. And the mind is like this self-appointed authority that's lording over it, that telling it should do this, you should do this, you should do that because blah, 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 blah. Right? A whole laundry list of equations and justifications. It's insecure, right? So it has to give you explanation and justification. Compared to the vessel, to the body, it's more quiet, you know? It's not gonna justify itself or explain itself. It's like you follow or not, that's on you. I'm not gonna explain myself. And so that is why in some spiritual teachings, they say that it's a leap of faith, right? It's like you just follow it because it doesn't give guarantees. It doesn't give you anything else. Will I get security and safety? Will I get this? Will I get that? It doesn't say anything. It's not like the mind. It's not like the mind who's doing all kinds of sales talk and marketing, all kinds of convincing tactics or luring tactics. And it's not loud, it's not loud like the mind, but it's correct, you can say. Following the body, you know, directing your following to it, this quote unquote subservience, this reverence is in alignment, you know. It feels true. It feels quote unquote correct. There was also this one time I was in front of the mirror, and as I was staring at the reflection, it felt like it's someone else staring back. Like it's a different person. And so I kind of got spooked by it a bit. But you just get used to it because, again, it has its own life. It's its own life. It has its own intelligence, you know? This might be also another hot take, but when they say know yourself, might I say that it's knowing the avatar, the vessel. It's not knowing yourself as the ego mind, right? It's not knowing more and more about the false imposter, the false authority, but it's knowing this avatar, this vessel that you're assigned to look through. It's respecting it and listening to it and knowing it. It's like, again, at that time when the body wants to write, right? And the mind is saying, do this thing instead because blah, 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 blah. And so, in that sense, at that instance, I learned about the body. Oh, this is what you want to do at this time. Okay. So you get to know more about the vessel, the avatar. Now, the sense of fear that a lot of people feel when letting go here to this place, you can say, at this extent, it's understandable. It's really understandable because the ego mind, it wants safety and security. It wants guarantees. It wants an equation. If I do this and this, I'll get this. This plus this equals this. Doing this will result to this outcome, right? And so it's like a sentence, it's like an equation. And I can feel a sense of security and safety in that false sense of guarantee, you can say. And so letting go here, there's none of that, you know? It's it's pretty, you can say it's pretty empty. because because it's not gonna keep yapping and yapping like the mind. It's so simplified. But in this simplicity, there's actually substance, you know? There's a kind of meaningfulness, sense of meaningfulness. There's a kind of reverence. Like when you do simple things like preparing your food or maybe making your coffee or tea or whatever. It's like it's in substance, you know, because you're in the body. The body is fleshed out, solid, you know, substance, integrated. It's fleshed out, it's substantiated. And so when you're coming in that place, then you recognize that too in everything. Suddenly things are infused. Things are not just a means to an end, right? I'm gonna do this so that I can get this, or I'm gonna do this very quickly. I'm just gonna, you know, scarf my food down very quickly so that I can get to this next thing, which will lead me to this next thing, and so on and so forth. You are not in appreciation. You know, you're just, it's everything is just a means to an end, a means to an end. You're not in full presence with what is here and now because you're not in the body, right? You're in the fragmentive mind whose agenda is to always fragment, 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 divide, divide, divide. You're in that machinery, and so that's the experience. So when you're in the body, you can notice that the body is here, is present, is in fleshed outness. It's in existence. It's in appearance. It's in substance, you know, fleshed out. And so when this is where you are in servitude towards, you can say, you are in honoring, you know, of this, of its authority, autonomy, you can say, then substantiatedness is your experience. There's the appreciation of the moment. You know, there's the honoring of it. There's not the devaluation of it. Like the ego mind, right? It's like constant devaluation. But here, it's like this simplistic presence, you know, there's the recognition, a recognition of the essence of all things, you can say. There's also this phrase, the falling away, right? The falling away of self. And it's the same thing, you know. Instead of the ego self structure erected, right, and being the authority and being your whole sense of self, it's, you know, it's like a humbling of that, a collapsing of that, and allowing for this, the true authority, again, to be at the forefront, to be at the stage, to be the one at the pedestal. There's the stepping down of that imposter, you know, of that scaffolding of the self ideas or self concepts. It's like instead of that being solid, it's the stripping of that and the humbling of that and allowing for the actual solidity, the one that is in real solidity, to be the one again at the forefront, to be the one under the spotlight, you can say. Another thing that comes to mind is the saying, behind every successful man is a woman who believes in him. Now think of the man being the avatar, being the vessel. And the woman being the humbling, the reverence for it, the allowing of it, the giving way to it, right? Because the avatar requires you, quote unquote, supporting it, going along with it, and not hampering it, bullying it, contradicting it, or listening to the ego mind instead of it, right? It requires your cooperation. That's it. It requires your cooperating. It requires, again, the going along with it, the cessation, the cessation of rebelling against it or contradicting it or arguing with it or following other false authorities like the brainwashed ego mind or external authority at the expense of, at the expense of your truth, at the expense of the true directive of your avatar, of your vessel, right? So that saying can be applied here. We're in the avatar. Behind the avatar is the woman, is the humbling down to support it. It requires it. By require it, I mean you're given the choice, to go along with it, to cooperate with it, or give this cooperation, direct this cooperation to, again, a false authority, to the imposter, to the distractions of the world, to the baits, to the baits of the world that aims to siphon this following, this going along with, this compliance, you can say, from here to there. They want to hijack that, right? Because this world, right, again, it's an upside down world. It's an opposite, you know. It's a bait. It's a bait for us to give this away. They're in siphoning mode, right? But because it's set up this way, then we learn. Oh, we learn not to give it away. Oh, it's actually not for there. It doesn't belong there. It actually belongs here, you know? So it serves a purpose. It allows for the experience of reclaiming, taking back, empowerment. One last point. The body is in fleshed outness, right? It's in manifest, in substantiatedness. You can say that it's the one that contains, because it's the one that is fleshed out. It's in yesness, right? It's in yes, here, appearance, existence. So it's the one that contains, it's the one that contains, you can say, yesness. So we can notice that the ego mind is preoccupied with notness right now, whole, not worthy, not valid, not enough, not complete. So you need to prove yourself. You need to get this, get that, possess this, blah, blah, blah. It's in notness because it's not the one that is in fleshed outness. And so since this is the one that is in yesness, you can say that it's the one that is intelligent. It has its own intelligence outside of the ego mind. We can even take a look at how it works. It's very fascinating. It's very impressive how the cells, how the systems and organs and chemicals, everything all work together to keep the body in balance, to keep it in wholeness, to keep it in homeostasis, right? Unless we really destroy it, like drink poison or drink harmful substances. But if we, be relatively healthy, then it's very, you can say, efficient in, like, let's say, clearing away the excess or if there's a deficiency somewhere, it compensates for it, to keep it in homeostasis. It's in working towards wholeness and coherence, right? It's intelligent, basically. And again, when we encounter situations, we get a gut sense, right? Or we encounter people and they're not right for us. There's already intelligence, right? The gut is telling us something. There's a gut feeling that there's a mismatch here. There's misalignment here. Don't go with that person, you know. And again, if you listen to the mind, in all its justification, oh, well, the person seems good. The person gave me this. The person says the right words. The person is, I don't know, good looking or whatever. And then you go along and then you listen to the mind. And of course, you get in trouble, you know? That's how it is. If we don't honor the vessel, the avatar, what we get is misalignment, because we're in physical reality. Physical is the physical. You can say that what knows best is the physical. Probably lots of people wouldn't agree with this, because in awakening teaching or awakening circles, maybe there's an emphasis on like transcendence or ascending, ascending away from the physical, right? As if the physical should be thrown away. It's not important. What's important is this, I don't know, upper dimension or something, right? But how I see it is that you wouldn't have to worry about quote unquote transcending the physical dimension because it's temporary, This vessel will die sooner or later. It's automatic. When the life of this avatar ends, automatic. There's the shifting to a different dimension. It's just that as of this time, you can say that our soul or the spirit or, whatever, however you call that, is in exploration of the physical dimension. That's where we are tuned into right now. And so, honor that, It's like the honoring of the present, going with the flow, going with the waves, and not trying to escape it, trying to transcend it or whatever. Again, it's like in alignment, instead of doing this, it's actually a missing of the mark because you're causing more and more misalignment. Instead of just this and just going with the flow, and wherever upper dimension may be that you want to get to, it'll probably happen along the road. It's just as of this time, physicality is the focus, you can say. It's the current moment. It's kind of like when you're on a train and the train is going, you know? And as of this time, the train is in this spot. But it's moving, it's going along. Right? Reality is ongoingness. Yesness, ongoingness, isness, isingness. Change is constant. So the train is going along. So you're gonna quote unquote transcend that spot. It's gonna move along, But while you're there, might as well enjoy it. Might as well honor it.